guys, how you going? Okay, I'm still a bit blocked up, so I just thought I'd do this video because I've been bookmarking a lot of stuff and I have to get it out there. Q-Mum said Australia has apparently gone into liquidation, means Australia is now enemy of England in this war. It has no ties to England anymore. Whiplash. I don't know what this is, what document this is. Business name, Commonwealth of Australia, liquidator and manager control appointed. 17th of the 8th, 2023. Name, Commonwealth of Australia, liquidator and D, managing controller appointed. Doesn't have a registration number or registered state. Status, pending resignation. Type, business names. Regulator, Australian Securities and Investments Commission. Now, take this with a grain of salt. I'm not 100% sure where this has come from, but just letting you guys know. Okay, Malcolm Roberts said, behold, so-called green energy killing the environment. This is a disgraceful reality behind climate fraud. How do the Greens feel about clearing vulnerable great glider habitat in far north Queensland or endangering the northern quoll? This short video shows environmental vandalism being carried out in the name of saving the environment. It's criminal. We support Friends of Shalumban. Thank you, Stephen, for sharing the videos. Okay, let's have a look. We won't play the music. Sorry about that. That was really loud in my ear. But this is what they're doing. To put in wind farms and solar panels. They're just destroying. Is this environmentally friendly? Look at all this. Is this really environmentally friendly? Is this what the greenies just want to do to the whole of Australia? I said years ago, what they're going to do is they're going to trap everyone in cities. You won't be allowed to go and visit the bush or the green areas, and they'll rape it all like they are now. And I was right. Look at what they're doing. This is crazy. This is disgusting. It's not green. Look, it's brown. It's going to be black soon with all the solar panels on there. Critically endangered rock pavement plants such as, didn't get to read that. Endangered northern quoll habitat being cleared. Quolls are a little animal. A little native species to Australia. This is disgusting. Endangered magnificent brood frog, habitat being cleared. Look how much they're clearing. This is... Oh, mate, seriously. If that doesn't make you disgusted, I don't know what would. Like I said, look, everyone's for the environment, but it's these corporations and things that continue to do this that hurt the environment. The government too. Don't ever trust the government. Gunther Eagleman said President Biden falls asleep while meeting with survivors of the devastating fires in Hawaii. Say it with me. FJB. Dear me. Daisy May, 4263, said Sydney Council takes the first step to ban gas in new homes and businesses. Don't listen. New homes and businesses within the council area would all be all electric and gas free, installing only electric appliances, i.e. stoves, cooktops, heaters and hot water units. Gas is actually great to cook with. Anyway. Ferrica said, Australia, please take 6 minutes to watch this fantastic video which explains in very simple terms how we're living under a false constitution created illegally in 1973 by the Whitlam government. Illegal because there was no referendum. The legal constitution we should be following was created in 1901. The 1901 constitution gives us great power over our lives and we should not be recognising the current one. I'm not going to play the video. There's a Rumble video. Actually, I'll bring it up to show you what the name of it is. Is it time for a constitution revolution? Tim's Truth on Rumble. For anyone interested, what I will do is I will repost this because they're right. The 1901 constitution is the original one. If you've got one that's been altered or anything, it's not legal. Malcolm Roberts said in Australia at ABC, Channel 7, 9, 10 and half of Sky News. Things adults should stop believing in. Santa Claus, the Tooth Fairy, the Easter Bunny, CBS News, ABC, Fox News, the New York Times, NBC, Fox, the Washington Post, MSNBC and CNN. I agree. And I agree with this person, who was it, Malcolm Roberts, saying ABC, Channel 7, 9 and 10 and half of Sky News, add SBS to that as well. Okay, hang on a sec, I'll get back to that. Okay, the next post is Laura Loomer, who's been going hard at people, which is a good thing to see. Someone's fighting back. President Trump posted this on Truth Social. He said he's turning himself in at the Fulton County Jail on Thursday, August 24th. This is the day after the first GOP debate. Nobody will even be talking about the debate. She'll be driving from Florida to Georgia to be there on Thursday in support of President Trump in front of the Fulton County Jail. Hope all of you will show up as well on Thursday so we can show the world how much support Trump has. And I heard a rumour of he was actually the president at the time, so he can't be charged. Anyway, we'll see what happens. Donald J. Trump said, "Can you believe it? I'll be going to Atlanta, Georgia on Thursday to be arrested by a radical left district attorney, Fani Willis, who's overseeing one of the greatest murder and violent crime disasters in American history. In my case, the trip to Atlanta is not for murder, but for making a perfect phone call. She campaigned and is continuing to campaign and raise money on this witch hunt. This is in strict coordination with crooked Joe Biden's DOJ. It's all about election." Okay, you know. When you know, you know. Alpha Fox said, "How come the Tiffany who claims to be the Tiffany on here has a tattoo, but the airplane lady did not?" Okay, well, apparently, the person who claims they are the airplane lady has a tattoo, but the lady on the plane does not have a tattoo. And the lady who's claiming to be her is a marketing person. So we'll soon find out. I think things will come out slowly but surely. Okay, now the Lucy Letby case. Dr. Claire Craig, not one of her impersonators. Okay, Lucy Letby basic facts. Okay, now when the media is all for something, you've got to sort of try and stand back and question it. Okay, I know it involves children. There could be more going on here than what people think. Mortality rates across England and Wales compared with Countess of Chester, 2015 to 2020. Okay. Okay. Now, DCS Nigel Wenman stated on or around May the 18th, 2017 that Cheshire Constabulary has launched an investigation which will focus on the death of 8 babies that occurred between the period 2015 and 2016, where medical practitioners have expressed concern. The cumulative infant mortality rate at the Countess of Chester Hospital for 2015-16 was lower than the national average. There's an unusual trend in the pattern of stillbirths and perinatal deaths. This couldn't be caused by something else and they're trying to blame a lady for it. Would it? Is that possible? You know, something else going on that may harm babies? The number of perennial deaths in 2017 and 18 was higher than in 2015-16, but Lucy Letby was not on the ward in these years. In June 2019, Dr. Gibbs retired. Dr. Gibbs was a senior consultant who accused Lucy Letby of murdering infants. At the same time, the number of perinatal deaths and stillbirths dramatically declined. Okay. And you got this one. Jackie Devoy said, "Is it possible that nurse Lucy Letby is innocent? The criminal lawyer thinks so. Could the whole thing be a cover-up or a set-up? Could there be links to organ harvesting? Some people think so. Perhaps police should investigate the trust's bank account around the time of those poor babies' passings. Remember, unless you're personally involved in the case, all you really know is what you read in the papers, see on TV and hear in the news. Anything you see, you're meant to see. There are agendas at play here that most people know nothing about. Question everything." And this is kind of where I'm standing. Except, Could there be a link to something else? Not just, well, maybe that this has got something to do with it. Jabs. David Curtin said nobody in the MSM has reported 2/3 of the deaths in baby unit at sea of Chester Hospital in 2015 were not all linked to Lucy Letby, and the number of deaths of babies in the unit was higher in 2018 than in 2015-16. These are huge omissions that open more questions. And Law Health Tech says, as you hear about the verdicts, rather than only being caught up in the horrified disgust and vilification of Lucy Letby, consider the unanswered questions for the 2/3 of parents whose babies' deaths could not be remotely linked to her. What wasn't the jury told? Okay, why is it police have only focused on 1/3 of infants who died at COCH during 2015-16 that they could, in some cases, only quite tenuously link to the sometimes inconsistently reported presence of Lucy Letby? Where are the investigators of the other 2/3 of neonates that passed away in the neonatal clinic unit at COCH, and whose doctors and police admit did so in sometimes very similar circumstances and even in the months after Letby was removed from clinical practice? Why was the hospital building so quickly scheduled for a complete refit and remodel and then so rapidly moved along for complete destruction and replacement? Why is it similar unexplained deaths continued in months after Letby was removed from clinical practice and no longer had access to the unit? Why is it these excess deaths only stopped after the aged consultant, Dr. Gibbs, had retired and was replaced? What relationship does the fact that he was 1 foot out the door for most of the period have to the entire collection of neonates who died in the unit? Is it possible, as I've previously demonstrated, that there are other causes for these neonate deaths that remain hereto unexplored? Was the building's destruction intended, as I've previously intimated, to destroy any and all evidence the ongoing plumbing issues had resulted in colonisation of hospital wastewater, pathogens that are common causes of neonatal death in such units? Over the next few weeks, I will resume my exploration of the evidence. However, until like-minded people band together, identify and provide appeal, experience legal support, and begin the process of unravelling what I, for one, believe to be a gross miscarriage of justice, we will never know the true answers to any of these questions. Now, this is what you always have to question what the mainstream media are saying. Andy Plum said wokeness kills babies. Here we have Lucy Letby, a serial, well, he thinks she did. Time after time, qualified medical consultants raised concern with the NHS about this woman. Time after time, the woke lefty hospital board, unqualified, ignored these concerns and asked that these consultants wrote letters of apology to this person. Well, we don't know, do we? We don't know. That's the problem. But the people who were in charge have all moved on to new jobs. People from the NHS. Countess of Chester Hospital CEO Tony Chambers stepped down after police launched an inquiry into the deaths. Oh. Salary £160,000. Then he took up several leadership roles in the NHS. Medical Director Ian Harvey, salary around £175,000, retired a year after police were called in. Pension pot £1.8 million. Head of Nursing for Urgent Care Karen Moore, one of Letby's direct line managers. Well, see, still, we don't know what's gone on here. Okay, Dr. David Cartland said climate change caught on camera. Look at that. Remember these things? I remember this in Australia. And some persons fact-checked this and said, oh no, they're trying to get ahead of the fire. That's what they always say. Okay, here in Australia they call this backburning. And a lot of the times the backburning actually creates a new fire. Gets out of control. Yeah, they said control burning, also known as backburning or fighting fire with fire. Unfortunately, it doesn't always work that way. Gabby said the complying fools will destroy us all. People continuing to confuse being obedient with being a good person. You're not a good person for following unscientific, morally corrupt rules. What you are is a coward. Good people don't follow unjust laws. It's their disobedience to them that creates positive change. I happen to agree with that. If you fell for it last time, fair enough, don't fall for it this time. We've been saying this for 4 years. Please do not fall for it again. Tim Poole said Joe Biden will be impeached for obstructing the investigation into Hunter. Rep Mike Johnson said unless he was instructed by his bosses at the DOJ, it would make no sense for David Weiss to claim he was prevented from bringing charges against Hunter Biden. Rep Jim Jordan said today we subpoenaed officials present at or with direct knowledge of a meeting in which now Special Counsel David Weiss allegedly claimed he was preventing from seeking charges against Hunter Biden for tax crimes. There you go. Dr. Russell McGregor said the BRICS summit is all about removing Rothschild's central bank hegemony. We've been told it was coming a long time ago. Question. Do we have the gold? Yes, gold shall destroy the Fed. Ariel said BRICS meeting, August 22 to 24, 40 world leaders scheduled, expansion of membership, destruction of the fiat, asset-backed currencies, artificial intelligence, environment, trade. The result of this meeting could spell the end to the UF, IMF, G7, etc. Yeah, because the BRICS is, Russia and all them, and China. It's going to bring down the dollar. They're helping, believe it or not. Charlie Kirk said, in case you thought the legal offensive against President Trump wasn't sinister enough, the left-wing law professors are now arguing that the 14th Amendment bars Trump from running for office again without any criminal conviction. They're arguing, in effect, he's guilty until proven innocent, and they claim that any government official is empowered to pass this judgment on him. The obvious purpose of this is a backup plan. Even if all Jack Smith and Fannie Willis rigged charges failed, their plan is to get swing state radicals like Adrian Fontes in Arizona or Jocelyn Benson in Michigan to unilaterally kick Trump off the ballot in order to make the 2024 election unwinnable. Nobody is a bigger enemy of Democrat elections or our Constitution than elite Democrats. The Atlantic said the Constitution prohibits Trump from ever being president again. The Atlantic, wasn't the owner really good friends with Ghislaine Maxwell? Interesting. Okay, Heather said, London Mayor, the only job in the entire world where you can do a completely shit job, increase crime, an entire police force put into special measures, rob the people blind based on lies and deceit, create racial divides and gaslight an entire nation, whilst an 80-seat majority Cons party sits back and watches as London burns at the hand of a globalist minion. Yes, evil pays. It's been given a free ride. Sack him, remove the position if necessary. Bloody hell, his track record alone warrants it. He should have gone years ago. The only conclusion I can make is he's a useful idiot to them. Same team. Pretty much exactly. It's funny too, because it doesn't matter which part of the world that we talk about, that it relates to everybody. We can all relate to it. Liz Krogan said Jeffrey Epstein's ranch in New Mexico, where the billionaire pedo planned to impregnate scores of women and seed the human race with his DNA, and also discussed with scientists engaging in genetic experiments and told them he was bankrolling efforts to identify a stalker particle that could trigger the feeling that someone is watching you, has finally been sold. The convicted sex offender acquired the 7,588-acre Zorro Ranch near Albuquerque in the early 1900s and built a 33,000-square-foot mansion there. Oh, the 1990s, not the 1900s. I was going to say, he's not that old. I'm an idiot. Okay, the ranch was first put up for sale for $27.5 million in 2021, but this price was slashed to $21.5 million a year later after local estate agents expressed skepticism over the price. There are many other properties out there that offer more amenities and no dark history, an estate agent named Jacob Martinez said. But according to the Mirror, the ranch was finally sold earlier this week to San Rafael Ranch LLC, a company formed just weeks ago for an undisclosed fee. Wonder if they're going to continue on the work, or is this like, I don't know, is it only formed a couple of weeks ago? Papers obtained by the publication show a special warranty deed was issued by the Santa Fe County Clerk's Office the day before and signed off on by Darren indict the executor of Epstein's estate. Epstein was also known to invite a number of scientists, engineers and technicians to the lodge, where he would reportedly try to woo by using his financial muscle to fund disturbing scientific ideas and insights. According to computer science and virtual reality expert Jaron Lanier, this included plans to convert the ranch into a baby-making factory, which would seed the human race with his DNA by impregnating at least 20 women at the ranch. According to the Times, other sources said Epstein also brought up the question of how humans could be improved genetically, and reportedly once told one scientist that he was bankrolling efforts to identify a mysterious stalker particle that might trigger the feeling that someone is watching you. What was he trying to do? Make everyone paranoid, or literally know when someone's watching you? What other kinds of twisted Joseph Mengele experiments was Epstein involved in? We're still just at the tip of the iceberg with this disclosure. His Zorro Ranch has been sold. There you go. Look how big the bloody thing is. Anywho, Catherine Dee's fan club said yes, volunteers plan to harvest votes in nursing homes. Should dementia patients be allowed to vote in the voice referendum? No. You know why? My mum has dementia. She can't remember anything. She doesn't know a whole lot at the moment. So she fell over again. So this time she smacked her lips on a cupboard when she fell, and oh my goodness. So that's where I've been the last few days. I've been not only had a weird cold, but anyway, things have been happening, so I've had to sort of family first type of thing. Jack Straw said, breaking news, Governor Gavin Newsom becomes the first governor to declare Donald Trump ineligible for upcoming presidential elections. He's requested the California State Assembly to draft and pass legislation aimed at excluding Trump's name from all future ballots. He's one of the biggest, he had that, you know, the triangle pedo symbol? Yeah, he had that in his Facebook thing was it Twitter or Facebook? Years ago, anyway. Matt Wallace said, video alert, Maui residents chant F you to Joe Biden as he finally shows up 13 days after the fires. Ready? Hang on. Okay.
Wow, he's finally here. Wow, yeah. Awesome. Yeah, thanks for nothing. Fuck you.
And that's telling them. Yes, that's telling them. Craig Kelly said Australians have woken up. They know it's ineffective, unnecessary and unsafe. Remember, the fanatics that wanted everyone jab passports, which would have expired if your last jab was longer than 6 months ago? Well, look at it now. Percentage of Australians either free or no booster within 6 months. 87%, 87%, 86, 85, 84, 79, 79. Still the majority. All those people who wanted the passports probably make up some of these numbers now. Dom LeCrae, breaker of narratives, said this is not a good look for Governor Ron DeSantis, politics aside. Bill Michiavelli, he calls himself, Trump's heart issues. It's rumoured that Trump is struggling with congestive heart failure. No, he's not. Trump's brothers, Fred Trump died of a heart attack brought on by alcoholism. It's not known what Robert Trump died from, although he is hospitalised with a stroke. Yeah, it's not a good look. If he's part of DeSantis' team, that's not a good look. Jack Straw said masks are getting better. Look at this. Interesting, isn't it? Yeah, that's what I think we're looking at with half these people. Alexandra Marshall said, if the government needs to confirm your racial identity to assign privileges, something has gone catastrophically wrong with civilization. We should remove every racial privilege, benefit, handout and organisation in this country and reorient welfare based on need, not colour. I agree with that. It should not be... How much you get should not be based on what colour you are. Because Aboriginals do get more than normal people do. Just letting you know that. Rob Schneider said, and I have no problem with like Aboriginal people, but I have problems with some people getting more than others when everyone's in the same boat. Rob Schneider said this, Socrates, everything's small enough to fit through those masks they made us all wear for 2 years. You ready? You really want to go there again? Watch this. Whoop, I've got to take the sound down. Okay, human hair, 17 to 18. I don't know what that means. It's diameter. I don't know. Okay. Amoeba, paracium, diatoms, human ovum, neurons, soma, human sperm, skin cells, pollen, yeast, red blood cell. Look how tiny it is. Coli, lactobacillus, staphylococcus, smallpox, rabies, T4 bacteriophage, SARS-CoV-2, poliovirus, rhinovirus. You really trust them? Because this is everything that can get through those things. Everything. Okay, just had to pause to have a cough there. Little Miss Knows It All said, note, everyone must understand there are two different types of jabs. President Trump's one, the ingredients were absolutely 100% safe, but deep state no longer exists. Note, everyone must understand there are two different types. President Trump's one was that, and that. And I can't click on that to see what the DS's one was. Yeah, see, I like to know what's going on here. Age restricted adult content. This content might not be appropriate for everyone to view. This media, you will need to add your birth date to your profile. Twitter also uses your age to show more relevant content, including ads as... Oh, yeah, I don't know. Okay. Which part's not accurate? I want to know. Ah, yes, it was. Ah, it was. That's the problem. It was hidden because it can be used as a you know, one of these things here. Okay? But if there was one of these things here available, they couldn't use the Emergency Authorization Act to get the other thing through. That's the point. You never needed one. Yeah, I'll agree with that. I hope that's what they got. I know that was his plan. I know this was Trump's plan. Okay? And wokeness to never forget, on this day 31 years ago, the FBI attack on Ruby Ridge property began. Federal agents attacked Randy Weaver's 14-year-old son, shot him in the back along with his dog. Next day, a federal sniper killed Randy's wife inside the family cabin while she was cradling a baby. The pretext was a firearms charge. Does anyone remember that? Ruby, I remember when it was all good. Oh. I remember, like, years ago, someone went over this. It might have been Alex Jones, I don't know. Top Secret said so. Brett Bayer has spoken to President Trump at least 4 times over the phone, begging Trump to attend the Fox News debate. Rona McDaniel also urged Trump to attend. The Trump and Tucker interview has already been taped and will be posted on debate night instead. There is no upside for Trump to attend the debate. Fox News is pro-DeSantis. The moderators will only have a gotcha questions for Trump, and it'll give his rivals a chance to elevate themselves at his expense. MAGA Inc., aka the Listless Vessels, someone called us Listless Vessels, by the way, will be watching Trump and Tucker. 24 million watched the first Republican debate in August 2015. Fox News ratings will be well below that. Fox is just like Sky News Australia. They're run by the same person. Nick Sautor said Joe Biden is on Maui. While Biden flies around in circles above Maui, residents are trapped on closed roads for the next several hours. Biden will then be meeting with pre-selected residents and will not be taking media questions. Obviously not the people that were saying F you. Go figure. Police are telling me residents are super frustrated and many are missing work because of the road closures. The people of Hawaii want answers. Why won't Biden or the government answer them? I bet you while all those people are waiting in line to get out that he just gets straight in. The roads will be clear for him. Matt Wallace said rumours are circulating that Barack Obama is currently dating a man. Ah, yes. Michelle. Wall Street Ape said this will blow your mind. If you don't believe the Maui Lahaina fires were caused by Jews, you will now. Antarctica Atmospheric Research Observatory, I witnessed myself. Very powerful green laser shooting out the top of this facility into the cosmos. They informed me that all of my information will be recorded for public record and shared with Congress. It is that important. In 2010, I was selected to go down to the South Pole Station in Antarctica for an entire year by Raytheon Polar Services. As an employee of a third-party contractor for the National Science Foundation, I functioned in a dual-role capacity as a tradesman and firefighter. My responsibilities required me to be more informed than most of my crew and offered me complete access to the facilities. What I learnt from this unique experience needs to be shared with the entire world. The technology at the South Pole Station certainly can do what it's presented as its primary purposes and unfortunately much more. The Ice Cube neutrino detector is presented as a passive listening device for the purposes of the science as presented. But I'm going to skip right to the chase, folks. I've provided documentation that proves that 5,160 what they call DOMs that are embedded in the ice can actually transmit at 2,047 volts each. That gives us a long list of things to consider. It is effectively a multifaceted directed energy weapons platform that I will list rapidly a few things that it can do. Vehicle detection, we're learning that these off-world craft, on-world craft, ours or other nations are also emitting neutrinos. So this makes the South Pole Station effectively an air traffic control station for this new level of equipment that nobody's discussing. In addition to the ability to detect neutrinos in the exotic vehicles, I provided documentation that shows that this is also a system for faster-than-light communications. In the past, Gary McKinnon has hacked NASA and found the off-world fleet, the list of captains, and it's apparent that if we have faster-than-light vehicles moving through the system, we're going to need faster-than-light communications. This is that facility. Unfortunately, I have other bad news. The season that I was there, 2010 to 11, we converted from constructions to operations and maintenance in both the elevated station and the detector array. Unfortunately, when they first fired it up, that was when we had the earthquakes in Christchurch, New Zealand. There was 2 incidental shots before they were able to target it correctly. This is an earthquake generating device as well. This is the weapons of war that we have to deal with now. And what's Raytheon hiding? There's an ELF system at the South Pole Station that when I arrived was told it was off, dismantled and completely defunct in my work. I'll rapidly tell you I had to figure out the circuitry for certain other repairs, and I found that this system is in fact completely energised up and running and being utilised with the other systems for nefarious purposes as well. The Atmospheric Research Observatory is what we call the clean air sector. I witnessed myself a very powerful green laser shooting out of the top of this facility in the cosmos. This, I believe, is a secondary form of long-range communications or defence system. I'm not saying we need to be scared of anything that's out there, but please understand the military-industrial complex is happy to invest all your money in alleviating their fears. The video continues on with some Antarctica treaty info, but due to X's text limit, you'll have to watch for yourself. They've had this technology the whole time. Of course they're using it. What I will do is I'm not going to show the video, but I will repost it on Twitter. I'll maybe have a little listen.
They informed me that all of my information will be recorded for public record and shared with Congress. It is that important. Christchurch, New Zealand. There's 2 incidental shots before they were able to target it correctly. This is an earthquake generating device as well. This is the weapons of war that we have to deal with now and what Raytheon's hiding. And all of these new items exceed the demand for the systems that I was presented. I am doing due diligence and research. I believe there is either a secondary power supply there that is either nuclear, that was there prior to the start of the Antarctic Treaty, which prohibits such things, and or that there is some sort of exotic power supply system there that just is not in the verbiage of the treaty, so it negates the responsibility to the parties involved.
Aren't the pyramids a power source? I remember hearing that somewhere. The real dark judge said this is some deep state shit right there. Nothing to see here, just Medina plagued with locusts. Great. There's the plagues. What part are we up to now in the Book of Revelation? There's earthquakes all over the place. Stu Peters said the entire world is currently burning and it's not because of climate change. Okay, let's have a listen and a look. Hang on, let me make this bigger. They have to put that thing right there, don't they?
TikTok of this girl going through that. All right, what you're seeing behind me are active wildfires as identified by satellite. Now this is on Weather Underground. You can go, you can set the layers, and you can choose to pull this up. Now I saw this video going on TikTok of this girl going through this, showing the world burning. And I had to go check for myself because I just wanted to verify and make sure. And it was true. All what you're seeing here are active fires happening presently. And look at Europe. I mean, I've never seen this before. This amount of activity. This is all climate change, right? I mean, look at Africa. Are they okay? Really? Because that is insane. And just wait, we're going to go over to South America next. We're going to take a little hop over the pond. And look at that. I'm sorry, this just doesn't seem normal to me. What do you think?
What do you think? I don't know because
what you're seeing
I don't know. Well, I haven't been paying attention to Australian news, mainstream news, but I'm not hearing anything about fires. But maybe there's one in Western Australia. I know that. Maybe. You never know. I just could be missing out. Dom LeCrae, breaker of narratives, says, on May 27th, 2010, Washington, D.C.-based investigative journalist Wayne Madsen made a shocking disclosure concerning Obama's membership in Man's Country, a homosexual club in Chicago. Former president was allegedly nicknamed Bathhouse Barry. Washington Insider, Obama member of Chicago Gay Men's Club. There you go. George said breaking new reports show Democrats illegally use non-profit organisation to fund their harvesting and registration scheme back then. One group called, I don't know if I can read this actually. One group called Voter Registration Project raised $190 million from private foundations, foreign billionaires, and even Sam Bankman-Fried. That money would then be spread to companies such as GBI Strategies that work to recruit local employees to do the real work of, doing this. This was done so that actions couldn't be directly traced to the big non-profits. Companies like GBI Strategies were paying their employees by the number of registrations they turned in. So there was a financial incentive. They gave those donors enormous tax breaks, even though charities and foundations are strictly forbidden by law to operate with the effect, much less the intent, of benefiting a political party. There you go. Caroline Viper said, why is Labor obsessed with a women's soccer team? Because one player is part Aboriginal, but because they have several lesbians. They won 2 or 3 matches and lost 3. Not outstanding achievement at all. He now wants to print $20 million and make them all millionaires. Why? Chris Min said the stadium where the Matildas made history in so many ways is getting a huge Matildas mural. Oh, this is that art again. The giant mural we're commissioning at Stadium Australian will celebrate their historic success and cost the taxpayers a fortune. That's how they launder money. They do things like this and put a mural up that doesn't cost that much, right? But they say it cost millions, billions even. Snarkish Dano said, just found this account, but I'm liking what they're putting out. Burning Bright said, Vivek seems to be the next Con Inc. Lilypad now that DeSantis' campaign's run out of juice before it really left the starting blocks. All the usual suspects, the ones who never lost their blue checks and told you all to mask up, vax up and shut up, are jumping aboard, softly defending real Donald Trump while prepping Ramaswamy shift. These are the same folks with massive YouTube, Google followings who downplay, any kind of fraud, tell you to get out and canvass, vote harder, and use globalist fund information filters to confirm the legitimacy of the news you read. It's all become quite transparent, which is about the consistency of Con Inc.'s dwindling support base. Trump targeted the left with his original campaign. He targeted the wolves among us in this one, which is why he's appearing weak when he's never been stronger. Act accordingly, because we all get to find out who is who this time. Okay, and take everything I say with a grain of salt until you can prove things to yourself. Alexandra Marshall said the mass migration problem facing the West involves predominantly young male economic illegal migrants, also known as country shoppers. If governments remove the welfare incentive, they'll leave. Illuminati Bot said, breaking, the new and more lethal Omicron variant has been detected. It's called BS247. They've named it BA, honestly, and when I seen this, I just thought that's better. That's what it should be called. BS247. It attracts the truth and insults your intelligence. Okay, they're trying to do it again. Don't fall for it. Tom Fitton said, breaking, federal court has the option of removing the entire Fulton County prosecution to federal court. Lawyers for Mark Meadows note, by default, the notice removes to federal court the entire case, not just the charges against Mr. Meadows, whether or not other defendants wish to remove or have legal basis to do so. Stu Peters said, your purpose now should be helping humanity by letting us know what you saw that led to you to believe that MFA was not real. In response to Tiffany Gomez, who says, one moment doesn't define you, but it can define your purpose. Self-love empowerment. I don't think this is the real lady. It doesn't look, her hair, it doesn't look like her. Indo-Australian Defence Forum. Australian US soldiers download 2 HIMARS rocket launches as part of Exercise Highball in Perth, Australia. This is the first time the US Army has conducted HIMARS training with the ADF in Western Australia. How you going, guys? Do we think we know what's going on now? Wall Street Silver said, could you do it? Do you think you could go back to living like we did in the 70s without internets, smartphones? Oh, yes. I could, no problem at all. If it was the 70s, yep, okay. Except cleaner, because it was corrupt back then too. But if the government was cleaned out, definitely. Awakened Outlaw said the US District Attorney perjured himself here and Ken should be prosecuted for it. A conviction for misleading Congress while testifying under oath carries up to a 5-year prison term. The Department of Justice, DOJ, planned to let Hunter Biden off the hook without charges until 2 whistleblowers came forward to expose political interference in the investigation, despite the claims of Attorney General Merrick Garland. The New York Times exposed the inside dealings of Hunter Biden's attorney with senior officials at DOJ, who had constrained US Attorney for Delaware David Weiss, even as Garland was testifying to Congress that Weiss had full authority to act in this case. There you go. The DOJ planned to let Hunter Biden off the hook until whistleblowers emerged. When they did, they couldn't do anything about that. Alexandra Marshall said any fit young male illegal immigrant that fled leaving their women and children behind should be put on the next ship, plane or carrier pigeon home. If they're not prepared to defend their home countries and their families, they'll certainly never defend their new Western home. I agree with that too. The Real Dark Judge said we're going to mention one important thing about Europe. We've decided against taking the one important thing due to ongoing events in Europe, big events. Pekka Woods said wait for news to unlock. He said bingo, the deep state are desperate as all hell. The elite and DS are desperate right now and throwing everything they've got. That's what they do. That is who they are. And I would agree with that. They are. Alexandra Marshall said when the left say Jacinta Price doesn't speak for Indigenous people, they are making her point. No one speaks for Indigenous people. There's no Indigenous voice because Aboriginality is a genetic ancestry, not a political affiliation. The idea that governments can collectivise Indigenous people into a coherent voice is nonsense. Nonsense. What the voice actually does is silence individual Aboriginal voices in favour of one all-powerful bureaucratic Indigenous voice that governments and corporate bodies can lobby. Yeah, someone they can pay off. That's the only Indigenous voice they're going to listen to. One who sells out to the UN. Michelle FJB said, this is Walter Scheib. He was Bill and Hillary's chef from 1994 to 2005. He died while hiking in Mexico, but what doesn't make sense is his body was found only 30 yards from his car. It was determined he got caught up in a flash flood and drowned. If that was the case, wouldn't his body have been found downstream? Also, what do you think the chances are that both Obama's chef Tafari Campbell and Walter Scheib died under suspicious circumstances from drowning? It's not like grown men who know how to swim die every day, especially the ones that just happen to work for presidents. I'd say less than 0. Interesting, isn't it? Why are they killing their chefs? That's the question I want to know. Simon Atiba said, what a week we just witnessed. Joe Biden, or Robert L. Peters, what a week. We learned Joe Biden reportedly used multiple pseudonyms like Robert L. Peters, Robin Ware and JRB Ware when he was vice president, preventing members of Congress from identifying him in communications involving Burisma, Ukraine foreign policy and his son Hunter Biden. As a result, on Thursday, House Oversight Committee Chairman James Comer requested the National Archives to provide documents related to Biden's aliases. The committee also asked for drafts of Biden's speech to the Ukrainian Parliament in 2015, as well as access to documents involving Hunter Biden and his associates Eric Schwerin and Devon Archer. Specifically, they're seeking redacted files from the archives entitled Emailed Messages to and or from Vice President Biden, Hunter Biden, which have raised questions. Go Simon Atiba. He's a good reporter. He was the one that the White House tried to bar. He's doing the best questioning compared to other people. Jack Straw said Russia's developed an unparalleled immortality capsule capable of performing a comprehensive body assessment using artificial intelligence and a virtual reality helmet. This remarkable capsule goes beyond merely scanning internal organ conditions, as it also gauges vital signs like blood pressure, pulse rate, oxygen levels, and blood sugar levels. This innovation holds the potential to extend patients' lives by offering high-quality diagnostic insights, facilitating longevity through enhanced medical evaluations. Interesting. Looks like a med chair. Not a med bed, but a med chair. Interesting. This little miss knows it all, says now pay close attention so there's absolutely 0 confusion. Camera, picture number 1, Princess Diana, proceeding to vehicle tag number 405JVJ75, comms outfit, black blazer with pair of white slacks, dark to light. What the fake media showed worldwide, tag 688LTV75. 2 completely different number plates. What do you think? It just gets more and more interesting, doesn't it? She's not dead. Burning Bright said, on Donald Trump's inevitable and peaceful revenge, those who've doubted devolution theory, continuity of government, and what effectively amounts to the Biden admin being a shadow presidency, for us is starting to come to a slow blinking realisation. Trump now occupies a bigger slice of the collective mind than he ever did as POTUS, and he's done it all while taking public slings and arrows campaigns that puts all others in American history to shame. I often described Trump's first administration as defensive one in the context of American football. Patriots deferred the kickoff and spent 4 years red-pilling the masses on 2 major macros. One, that it was possible to turn the gargantuan ship that is the United States Republic around as if it were a nimble clipper, or as if Trump had a magic wand if only the right leadership were in place. 2, that the establishment deep state system of systems would stop at nothing to make sure a true representative of the American people never gets through that high and mighty office with his and our mandate intact. Along the way, Trump and Patriots spaded a series of narratives and scandals into the ether, unless of course you're one of those hopeless, angry fools who still believes everything from Russian collusion to foreign interference, to quid pro quo in Ukraine, to escalatory relations, World War III, anyone, with world superpowers just so happen to be coming back around to bite the current admin in the exact order and persuasion in which they were weaponized against Trump. Only this time the scandals and stories have actual at the end of them, actual in the form of truth. receipts, documentary evidence. The ground the first Trump admin paved wasn't solely in the halls of our corrupt government, nor in the court precedent, nor in the rise of the new decentralised media, but rather in the collective mind itself. And now all those chickens are coming home to roost, and all those narrative seeds are beginning to germinate. When the American people find themselves at a psychological breaking point under the tyranny of a very establishment that promised them absolution from one man who stood up for them, even when they turned their backs on him. This time round, Trump is engaging in a silent running campaign reminiscent of some of the earliest comms. This is the shark fin template I often write about, in which Trump allows his uni party, read GOP enemies, to expose themselves by appearing weak when he is anything but. Because these aren't Trump's enemies, they're ours. Remember, it isn't the enemy at the gates you have to fear the most, the democratic establishment, media industrial complex and cultural Marxists, who openly deride you, loathe you, and seek to subjugate you through intimidation and open info war, sometimes verging on the kinetic. It's the enemies who've already slipped past the guards and under the timbers, on the edges of the torchlight, and wearing the skins of our neighbours we must fear the most. This is the GOP establishment. This is the Uni Party. This is Con Inc., who would have ruled over the shell of a Twitter battlefield they were never banned from as long as their particular brand of nonconformity didn't stretch the system beyond its bounds, and they are currently represented by Ron DeSantis and Vivek Ramaswamy, and those who push them from positions of privilege the MAGA movement built in the first place. As Trump often says, they're not after him, they're after you. He's just in the way. Well, the witch hunt may be on Trump right now, but the hunters have been revealed, even those who hid amongst us, especially those. All assets have been deployed, which means the vampires are in the sun. Let's keep them there a while. Yep, let's make sure everyone sees it. Jack Straw said 5 earthquakes recorded just now, California, OJ. Last one recorded was 9.2 depth. Looks like a dum's being obliterated, tunnels being flooded. Isn't this a popular area where loads of celebrities live? And also, hurricane is called Hillary. Disneyland's only 2 hours, 110k away from Disney, and closed early today. Wow, interesting. Mr. Green said if Elon Musk removes the block button and everything continues to be exposed, people will not be able to block James O'Keefe from asking questions. They will not be able to block the Anons from posting the evidence on their Twitter threads. Sometimes you have to expand your mind. Yeah, because Elon's thinking of moving the block button and people are going nuts over that. Libs of TikTok said breaking: Satan-worshipping Illinois teacher who suffers from mania and psychosis and had a history of alarming social media posts was fired today after the board held an emergency meeting. Full story here. This person here, Chris Martin: I have bipolar 1 disorder with mania and psychosis. The condition has drastically changed their life for the better and worse. Because of it, they suffer from irrational thought processes which make their fears and anxieties tripled. Every day is a battle with their mind to survive and be the best person they can be. They have done things in conditions of psychosis and mania that have been violent and hurtful. But this person is not their disease, they are them. And oh wow. Yeah, okay. They shouldn't be a teacher if they've done things in conditions of psychosis and mania that have been violent and hurtful. What are they doing teaching anyone? The world's gone insane. Kylie Burden said, what has Linda been doing all these years in Parliament? Look at her. She's the Gucci one, right? She's been too busy spending money on herself and flitting around here and there. She's one of the Aboriginal ministers. This is what $30 billion a year buys, not including mining royalties. We need a royal commission before a voice. This is disgraceful. Cat Turd said, I can't stop thinking about this video. This is heartwarming. Oh, this is people all over the place listening to... Oh, hang on. No, it made me cry.
Bullshit pay so I can sit out here and waste my life away. Drag back home and drown my troubles away. It's a damn shame what the world's gotten to for people like me, people like you. Wish I could just wake up and it not be true, but it is. Oh, it is living in the new world. with an whole soul.
I can rock with that.
These rich men north of Richmond, Lord knows they all
Ah,
just
Jamal.
wanna have
That was Jamal. Sorry, I'm subbed to him as well. The last guy.
total control. Wanna know what you think, wanna know what you do, and they don't think you know, but I know that you do, 'cause your dollar ain't shit, and it's taxed to no end.
Okay.
The rich men, no, the rich men.
Oh, this is true. Tell 'em, buddy.
Some of us can't say what we absolutely know is true, and he's articulating
I wish politicians look out for minors, and not just minors on an island somewhere. Lord, we got folks in the street, ain't got nothing to eat, and the obese milking welfare. Well, God, if you're 5'3" and you're 300 pounds, taxes ought not to pay for your bags of fudge rounds. Young men are putting themselves 6 feet in the ground, 'cause all this damn country does is keep on kicking them down. Lord, it's a damn shame what the world's gotten to for people like me.
What?
People like you. Wish I could just wake up and it not be true, but it is. Oh, it is. Living in the new world with an whole soul. These rich men north of Richmond, Lord knows they all just wanna have total control. Wanna know what you think, wanna know what you do, and they don't think you know, but I know that you do, 'cause your dollar ain't shit, and it's taxed to no end, 'cause the rich men, north of rich men. I've been selling my soul, working all day, overtime hours for bullshit pay.
Damn.
Okay, just give me a second, guys.
Oliver Anthony.
Richmond, north of Richmond.
Okay, just give me one sec, guys. Okay, I only watched a little bit of it the first time, and I just cried. I think it's happy tears, like it's just relief knowing other people know. Okay, Fletch17 said, hold on, Patriots, things are about to get spicy. Earthquakes, fires, Trump not debating, Elon turning, new COVID strain and mask mandates returning, nothing can stop what's coming. And in response to this, yeah, it looks like it could. Look, although I agree with a lot of things he says, be careful, okay? We don't know until it really comes down to it. Please stand by, it's about to all go down. The real dark judge said, bingo, human trafficking and child trafficking. We confirmed that a few days ago. Scott Adams said, dog not barking. Maui is not telling us how many of the missing are kids, but they know. Prepare your brain. Cernovich said, a little kid got separated from a mum for a few minutes at 11 p.m. because the mum had to be processed for her asylum claim. That was front page news, 24/7, Time magazine cover. It was also a total hoax. 1,000 kids burned in Maui. Reality. Any magazine cover for them? Yep. Be ready. There's a lot of kids missing. I'm so over this. A word to the 1%. You control our world. You've poisoned the air we breathe, contaminated the water we drink, and copyrighted the food we eat. We fight in your wars, die for your causes, and sacrifice our freedoms to protect you. You've liquidated our savings, destroyed our middle class, and used our tax dollars to bail out your unending greed. We are slaves to your corporations, zombies to your airwaves, servants to your decadence. You've stolen selections, assassinated leaders, and abolished basic human rights as human beings. You own our property, shipped away our jobs, and shredded our unions. You've profited off disaster, destabilised our currencies, and raised our cost of living. You've monopolised our freedom, stripped away all our education, and have almost extinguished our flame. We are hit, we are bleeding, but we ain't got time to bleed. We'll bring the giants to their knees and you will witness our revolution. Jesse Ventura. Believe it or not, Jesse Ventura introduced me to Alex Jones because I watched the, what was it called? Conspiracy Theory with Jesse Ventura. There you go. That was one of the first things I watched, and I've still got it on my media box. Dr. Seuss said the virus has to come back because excess death from other things is too big to cover up. Something has to be responsible for it. They tried climate, hot shower, laugh too hard, etc. Seems not enough. They look around, realise that the virus is still the best tool. Don't fall for it, please. Matt Wallace said woke people have turned Paris from one of the most beautiful cities on earth into a giant homeless camp for illegal immigrants. Oh, dear. That's terrible. Not the only place. I believe Melbourne's like that too. We've got San Francisco. You've got, oh my God, they've got everywhere. Sam Groth MP says Saturday Daniel Andrews said the Commonwealth Games cancellation would not be more than $380 million. Today he admits it's likely to be $600 million. Well, how is... oh dear. The Premier and team have no idea when it comes to major projects and events. They've trashed our reputation as the sporting capital. Comms Games cancellation Saturday, $380 million. Today, $600. It's going to be $1 billion. Give it a few days. Couple of days, mate. I mean, therefore I am, said breaking documents leaked to Politico reveal that Hunter Biden was involved in Trump's impeachment over Ukraine. Emails that were leaked to Politico indicate that Hunter Biden had a meeting with impeachment lawyers in January 2020. While Pelosi and Schiff were on the House floor spreading falsehoods about Trump trying to impeach him over a phone call with Zelensky, Hunter Biden was meeting with lawyers involved in the impeachment proceedings. It's worth noting that the FBI was already in possession of Hunter Biden's laptop, which contained documentation of numerous alleged crimes related to Biden crime family activities in Ukraine. Allegedly, apparently. There you go. In the summer of 2019, according to one of the slides, Biden got sober and started working to make amends with the IRS, but he faced an unusual complication. He was at the centre of Trump's first impeachment. The slide deck cites an email from one of Biden's advisors sent to him on January 26, 2020, saying they'd need several hours to go through questions and find documents as they tried to settle his tax bill. I have a meeting tomorrow with impeachment lawyers for the day, Biden replied. I'll have to wait till Tuesday, I'm afraid. So there you go. Hunter has a lot to do with it as well. Tammy Bruce said, fact check true. Biden held a brief press conference at Camp David on Friday and drew criticism from Fox News' Tammy Bruce, who described the commander-in-chief as noticeably rattled. Bruce aired footage that appeared to show Biden physically and verbally struggling to get through his remarks. Interesting. This is Fox News. Okay. I know I have also heard that a lot of the news is being forced to report. Brock Riddick said John McAfee. Okay, this was back 2nd of the 5th, 2020. That's how I wrote, sorry. If this is American, it's 5/2/2020. Okay. John McAfee said, do not, under any circumstances, take that thing. I guess we'll find out when we find out what was in it. Flim Flam has little prayer hands. And once the storm is over, you won't remember how you made it through, how you managed to survive. You won't even be sure whether the storm is really over. But one thing is certain, when you come out of the storm, you won't be the same person who walked in. That's what this storm's all about. It is. Go watch the trailer of the movie White Squall. Craig Kelly said you couldn't make this up. Albanese is now censoring public submissions into his misinformation bill aimed at giving the government power to order social media to censor political debate, something the Liberals tried to do illegally when they were in power. Okay, delays publication till September. They plan to selectively release misinformation bill submissions. Yeah, delaying the publication, that doesn't mean delaying the actual implementation of it. Mr. Green said, we don't know what the end game could be. It could very well be that Elon will run a decentralised version of all this so that no one owns it, can control it, or censor it, or can freeze your accounts. It's not completely out of the realms of possibility that all this becomes more of a personal protocol than a global service. So that could be why Elon's doing what he's doing. Because he hired one of those puppets again. And she wants to censor people again. Laura Loomis said, fake news. I was with President Trump last week and he looked great. He has more stamina than anyone else I know. Stop lying about his health, because they're saying that, yeah, they believe he's got heart issues, and no, he hasn't. Oh, Elon Musk replied to real James Woods saying, then delete your account. Because James Woods said, oh, where was it? There it is. James Woods said, thank you. If Elon Musk removes the ability to block concerted harassment by trolls or organised political entities, how will X be any different from Jack Dorsey's horrid Twitter? Musk, whom I once championed, is only doing this to protect his advertisers anyway. Users of X are mere pawns to turn the site into an electronic shopping mall. The man I thought was a defender of free speech is just another greedy capitalist. Disappointing, but not surprising. We've got to make sure that doesn't happen, James. You're one of the most important people on, because he was going to... Oh, yeah. Don't leave. And that's what Elon Musk said then, delete your account. So, you can make up your own mind what's going on with X at the moment. We'll soon find out, I believe. By the way, I did order a Starlink. I have too many trees, don't I? I can't get any reception from Starlink. Too many trees. I've got to move to the country, guys. Kyle Becker said the real insurrection in America right now. There's a real insurrection going on. You won't read about it in the headlines, see it reported in the nightly news. It all started on J6, but not for the reasons the mainstream media tells you. The goal of this insurrection is to end the constitutional rule of law in America. Let's take the J6 political prisoner stories, which quietly become one of the biggest travesties of justice in American history. Minor violations like parading without a permit and obstruction of an official proceeding are drawing sentences comparable to those given out for SA and third-degree murder. J6 offenders are languishing in horrid conditions awaiting trial. The DOJ is still going after MAGA grandma tourists years later, even though the DOJ dropped all charges against far-left activists responsible for the J20 riots of former President Trump's inauguration and the summer 2020 riots near the White House, where 50 Secret Service agents were injured while the president was taken to a nuclear bomb-proof terror attack bunker. In contrast, over 1,000 individuals have been indicted on several charges in connection to J6. Of these, over 600 have either been admitted guilt or been found guilty in trials. Approximately 600 have received their sentences, with a majority facing prison terms ranging from 3 days to 18 years. It's important to note that not a single person was probably killed by J6 rioters. Over 20 people were killed in the BLM Antifa riots that raged for months, dealing over $2 billion in damage, mainly to impoverished black neighbourhoods too. In the J6 events, many protesters were so threatening that the Capitol Police actually held the doors open for them, and the infamous QAnon shaman was effectively escorted into the Senate chamber where he gave a rehearsed speech and then left peacefully. Meanwhile, armed undercover MPD crawled through the protesters, inciting them to go to the Capitol, yelling phrases like, "Whose house? Our house?" There was a federal agent who dressed like Antifa. A known Antifa revolutionary happened to catch the close-up video footage of Ashley Babbitt's shooting. There were at least 24 FBI informants known to have penetrated extremist groups that planned for weeks ahead to conduct a Capitol siege. Therefore, Donald Trump could not have incited the riot. The FBI, Pentagon, Capitol Police, National Guard, and DC Mayor's Office all ignored general warnings coming weeks in advance and specific warnings given days in advance to have deliberately weak security at the Electoral College. The DOJ's IG review showed that Donald Trump wanted at least 10,000 National Guard troops to ensure security. He was ignored. The Congress was evacuated due to the RNC and DNC pipe bomb threats. Despite video footage, the suspect has not been caught. This conveniently disrupted the 2020 election protests in the House of Representatives. Again, none of the protesters were armed save for one with a concealed carry weapon that was not brandished. There were no capture and kill teams. This was a hoax. It does not make sense for a sitting commander-in-chief to want thousands of National Guard troops stationed outside the Electoral College, only to send unarmed extremists to tour the Capitol building in a vain attempt to conduct a coup where there was no means to capture and hold a seat of power against the most powerful military in the world, after telling protesters to peacefully and patriotically make their voices heard, thus committing federal violations that would undoubtedly lead to the president spending the rest of his life in prison. Yet this is precisely what Donald Trump's craven and morally compromised adversaries are arguing. The same people responsible for the Russia hoax and two sham impeachments that led to acquittal are trying to frame Trump as the mastermind of a seditious plot when the former president was seeking legal and political remedy for an injustice while exercising his constitutional rights. The hundreds of J6 defendants are merely collateral damage in a justice system that's been weaponised against Donald Trump and his supporters. These are human lives being destroyed in a narrative war that's being waged by vicious, immoral actors who relentlessly aim to seize the power of the US government and abuse it for their own radical ends. The real insurrection is the destruction of the constitutional rule of law that's happening in America right now. Come on, Trump, come back. Jennifer Brock said, here we go again. This old white woman welcoming me to my country for a big fee. F off. Oh, you've got to be kidding. No, if anyone, I'm going to laugh. If anyone tries to, I haven't had anyone welcoming me to country yet, but if they do, I'm going to laugh at them. Dr. Dina McMillan said, dear Australians, please pay attention. Efforts to make you feel wrong and self-conscious aren't about giving a voice to the oppressed or improving society. They recognise tactics to make you easier to manipulate. They're about stripping away your rights and getting you to allow or even participating in the destruction of your beautiful country. You must object, not only with your vote but also your words. No more compelled speech, empty ceremonies or huge sums of tax money that's not audited or overseen. You're a brave people. Say no. Please, Australians, say no. Oh, goodness me. Craig Kelly said, completely out of touch. It's not just that Albanese doesn't know the price of petrol. It's that he's so out of touch he's completely unaware how the price of petrol has surged in recent weeks and how much extra cost of living pressure this is putting on families. And that Labor have just had their national conference and this vital cost of living issue was ignored while they navel-gazed and focused on virtue signalling voice. But I suppose after all, the Labor elites either have private jets or government cars while everyone else can catch an electric bus.
Pretty obvious during your conference speech that cost of living's front and centre for this government. I once stumped a PM over the price of petrol. Can you tell me what the price of petrol is roughly at the moment?
Oh, the price of, well, I don't go and fill up my car, but it was around about $1.80. It was around about $1.80 last time I did.
Well, it's $2.10.
I'm out of time. It's $2.50 where I am.
$2.20 now.
It was around about $1.80.
You're out of touch. I'm out of time. Okay. Roxanne Fernando said, whenever I'm reading comments by delusional Aussie soccer fans that they start with, imagine if they received as much funding as the men, what they could have achieved. I remember when the heavily underfunded and under-resourced former Sri Lankan team from the developing world defeated the mighty Australian team in the 1996 Cricket World Cup final. Imagine the type of privilege one must have just to throw money at sports in the hopes of winning. There's a lot more to sports and talent than just money. Dear me. Look, you can't receive as much funding as the men if you're not bringing in the money. It's just people aren't as interested in women's sports. Jack Straw said, note, according to sources, MSM News have been given the word to report the truth or the military will come in. The existing reporting is treason. Watch the next few days. Changes are coming. That's where I heard it. There you go. We'll see. Matt Wallace said, pretty incredible how the Maui fires were smart enough to miss government buildings and BlackRock-owned banks. The mall with government offices and multiple BlackRock-owned banks. And all the houses. There you go. Oh, and of course there's a fact check. The mall in question is Lahona Cannery Mall, according to the mall's online directory. There are no government offices. Okay. Sorry, I don't trust the, I don't know, I trust them sometimes, depends. Jessica Rogers said, Dr. Michael Farley makes you think about whether vaccines make sense or not. Find out whether or not Hep B is really needed, but no, it's not. It's a sexually transmitted disease, isn't it? Also find out Dr. Farley's first-hand experience with it. He discusses how they cause brain swelling in every infant every time post-vaccination. Vacation, sorry. Wrong word. He's done several autopsies to know they all had brain damage, many factors that... Look. Okay, the amount of things that they give babies, there's a reason for SIDS, and that's why they brought out after the most recent one, jab that they brought out, SADS, sudden adult death syndrome. Burning Bright said Russia told you there were Nazis in Ukraine. Russia told you the West was run by a sycophantic pack of satanic pedos. Russia told you the dollar was a weapon of subjugation and international terror. Russia told you the way into the future was a multipolar world order. No one, not one, multi, working together. Russia told you the only way to global peace was through the strength of cooperative sovereignty, mirroring the stances of John F. Kennedy and Donald Trump. Russia's telling you the regime is about to spin up a new manufactured wave of hysteria in order to distract you from the collapse of their globalist world order. As it turns out, Russia has a good track record of late. There you go. Laura Loomer said, P.S. Ari Open Chris, you can talk all that you want about me, but please don't hit me like you've hit other women and been arrested for in the past. As a recipient queen, let me remind you of your domestic violence charge, Chris, amongst other criminal charges. Wow, another Team DeSantis influence, a great company you keep, Ron DeSantis. I see you really working hard to get the suburban housewife vote. Wife beaters for DeSantis, is that your new coalition? DVCE. Michael G. Kaplan. That's the judge name. Jennifer Lynn Nelson, petitioner versus Christopher Paul Nelson, respondent. Wow. Does anyone find it funny how Christina Pushaw allows former alcoholic and wife beater Chris Nelson to work with the Ron DeSantis campaign? Illuminati Bot said WEF declares we are gods. If you stand in our way, you will die. I'm not scared. Sorry. I'll stand in your way. Aussiebot said the government's failure to put Australians first has forced the people into despotism by design. They're the ones who must be removed. Make Australia great again. Sanchez said people don't have anywhere to go. Where do you expect them to go, government? Arseholes. These are people who are homeless. And, well, not even. Actually, well, I think these are. Yep, harassing people, touching property, behaving aggressively, effectively giving people nowhere to go, and ticketing them. Caravan parks are overpriced and full to the brim, no social public housing availability. And, wow. That's disgusting. People are told they can't use free amenities, being told they're taking up parking space for others. We're all human. Families, children, men and women forced to live in tents, vans are being pushed further onto the main roads and out of safety. Where's the solution, Australia? Okay, not only that, just like I'm in a really quiet town and they just put these parking bloody meters everywhere that you have to pay for. Parking now. Blue Mountains Council, what the hell are you doing? Money, money, money. And they will give residents free parking, but you've got to go to the RTA and get some kind of, I'm sure, digital shit. Mr. Green said Trump about to go to court and release evidence to prove the whole thing was stolen. Elon makes it so people can't block us. Well, Mr. Green here thinks Elon is a patriot. I'm not 100% sure about that. Dr. Simon Godek, replying to Dr. Tedros, said climate change is hope, just like COVID. We know your misanthropic agenda, and from now on I'll ratio every one of your posts. I won't bow down to criminals like you. WHO Chief Tedros is accused of aiding genocide in Ethiopia. Nobel Peace Prize nominee lodges complaint with International Criminal Court. Oh! Hang on, I'll get back to it, guys. Okay, now Daniel Andrews, 30 former Labor MPs been parachuted into plum taxpayer-funded board roles across the Andrews government. Now there's a call for probe into jobs for mates appointments. Yeah, he's given all his low-life mates jobs. Rep Marjorie Taylor Greene said we'll never go back to lockdowns, forced masking and anything because of that. If you're scared of a flu or a cold, then you should stay at home. The rest of us and our children are going to continue living. And I agree, do not comply, please. Okay, who's this? Jamie McIntyre said Maui fires was a climate change that's killed what is likely over 1,000 dead. 111 dead and 1,300 missing, most presumed dead. A few questions to debunk the wild conspiracy theory that somehow climate change is to blame. How did climate change cause the police to blockade the streets and trap fleeing residents' last chance of escape in their cars? How did climate change cause all the build-up of fuel for a wildfire close to the town? How did climate change ensure the water was left turned off to after it was too late to save the town? How did climate change ensure the warning sirens weren't sounded? How do such localised gross government negligence and incompetence occur globally in places not just like Maui but even Lismore, Australia, and others that in alleged natural disasters that government deny helping, delay help, and prevent locals from saving their fellow citizens? How is it they are following the same pattern of apparent gross incompetence, yet it's not inadvertent but deliberate actions by governments? I just wonder where such globalist policies and playbooks are coming from. So how did climate change murder over 1,000 Maui residents? I suspect it didn't. Fires, yes, can be deadly, but without massive human interference, not this deadly. So there you go. I think I just said everything he was saying. Max XRP Patriot said Broom, breaking Russia has allegedly submitted 2,000 pages worth of evidence to the UN which accuses Big Pharma and Deep State of manufacturing things. And there you go. And I'm going to leave it there for today, guys. I've had to pause a few times to blow my nose and cough and stuff like that, and cry even. Okay, but I will be back either Friday or Saturday. I'll be back. Okay, guys, have a good morning, afternoon or evening, wherever you are, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.